Welcome back to Fast Market on the TD Ameritrade Network. I'm Tom White, joined by my co-host Kevin Hinks. But let's bring in our next guest for our cash tag segment, and that's going to be Landon Swan, the co-founder of LikeFolio.com. Thanks for joining us, Landon, on this Friday afternoon.
Great to be here. Thank you.
All right. So, home prices are going skyrocketing higher. Mortgage rates are going higher. There's no inventory out there as far as housing goes. But when you look at the home improvement stocks that had a great run from, the middle of 2020 all the way until the end of last year, had a good run. Is this the top? Have we reached the peak for earnings growth for these companies? Because their margins were good and they continue to expand even though inflation was ramping up. Are you guys seeing positive data on like Home Depot and Lowe's still at this point with a lot of headwinds coming?
Sure. So first, let's talk about 2021, right? Home prices were up about 17%. Homes were on average selling in 15 days, which is incredible. You've got 7% inflation, which I would argue is probably higher, especially in the housing market, backed up by that 17%. Lumber was all over the place. It, pulled back. It's back up now. We've got data on trends, people talking on social media, mentioning these things that says that the number of people buying a home is down about 10% quarter over quarter, or moving is down about 19% quarter over quarter. But what's interesting is if you look at people talking about either building a house or, more importantly, renovating a house, that is up plus 11%. And so, a lot of people bought their home and maybe it was outdated. Maybe they want to freshen it up, whatever. You've now got a lot of new people in a new house and they're starting to get into the renovation phase, which is going to be really strong for Home Depot and Lowe's. And you can see, we talked about this before back in March, April, May of 2020. You stick somebody in their house and they're going to paint the walls, change the carpet, put in new cabinets, whatever it may be. There was a huge surge during COVID, where people were locked in. There was a ton of home renovations done then, and it kind of reverted back to the mean, but we're actually getting a nice little pop here. I would say unexpected. I certainly didn't see this coming, but we always follow the data. And so we're, like I said, we're seeing a plus 11% quarter over quarter in renovations, whereas all the other home stuff is declining, buying a home, moving, all of that. And so I think this is people settling in and starting to change their new home. And of course, where are they going to go? They're going to go to Home Depot. They're going to go to Lowe's and companies like that. So when you look at the, just the LikeFolio data, of course, these two companies don't report for, I think it's 4 weeks. So they're not going to report earnings for a while. But if you look at their earnings score from the negative 100 being super bearish to positive 100 being super bullish, Lowe's is a plus 9 right now, not bad. And then Home Depot is a plus 35. And that's based on many things, including happiness and what you see here, purchase intent. So this is people, this is the 30-day moving average of purchase intent on a quarter over quarter basis. You can see Home Depot is outpacing Lowe's on the growth side by quite a bit. Very strong numbers. Additionally, Home Depot's happiness is actually past Lowe's. Generally speaking, Lowe's has been higher than Home Depot on happiness. Lowe's is up 8 points quarter over quarter, doing really well, up to 66%, where Lowe's is kind of stagnant, right around 60%, so a few points behind. So between the two, I think Home Depot is actually winning or taking advantage of this home renovation phase more than Lowe's. But we'll have to see, of course, in about 4 weeks when they report. But if I'm a betting man, I would go with Home Depot right now.
So, Landon, let me see if I'm interpreting your data correctly, because if what you're saying is what I'm understanding, then this is a pretty solid opportunity in this company. So first and foremost, you're seeing what I think is a kind of a surprising resurgence in home renovations, right? I mean,
yeah, I would say so.
It came down, but now it looks like it's surging back higher again. Am I right on that first point?
Yeah, I think so. I certainly didn't see it coming. We had the surge in COVID, but now, reverted back to the mean, but now we're getting an unexpected bump in renovations. Yes, Kevin.
Okay, so within that surge that you're seeing, Home Depot is kind of eating Lowe's lunch here, right? I mean, 18% to 7%, that's a big beat on a company like Lowe's that brings in Marvin Ellison, a Home Depot alumni, thinks they're closing the gap. That's a pretty big pull away. So not only is the overall sector doing well, but Home Depot is doing well in that direct competition with Lowe's. Is that what this data is saying?
That's exactly right. Yeah, we think that the sector overall is doing well. Home renovation, just in general, home improvement, that kind of thing. And between the two, it looks like Home Depot is definitely outpacing Lowe's. And there's others to talk about. I mean, Wayfair is doing well as also. Sure. But between these two, it's Home Depot versus Lowe's. I'd say Home Depot is doing much better.
Yeah, and Landon, when you look at this, Home Depot compared to Lowe's, as far as do-it-yourself, is Lowe's more prevalent in that particular area, and then Home Depot's got a good balance between contractors and do-it-yourself according to your data, or is it vice versa?
You know, that's tough. I think that generally speaking, Home Depot lends itself more towards contractors. But you know, the happiness data is really telling, because for a long time, I think that there was. It's not as stark as like a Target versus Walmart, but there was that element that, you know, Home Depot is not as nice or just pleasant, I guess, to be in as Lowe's. But that is actually flipped over the last little bit. Home Depot has had a surge in consumer happiness over the last quarter and is now actually well ahead of Lowe's, which is, you know, frankly kind of surprising. But you know, you can look at their last quarterly report. Home Depot had plus almost 10% revenue year over year, where Lowe's was about plus 3% year over year. So, you know, it's already in the data somewhat as far as earnings go. But I think that, you know, there's a big question mark, obviously, with investors and analysts as far as this quarter. And everything that we're showing indicates that Home Depot is continuing that dominance over the last quarter, continuing it this quarter.
Cav, you got one more question here real quick for Landon?
Yeah, of course. Just quickly, Landon, all this. And you're right, their earnings don't come out till February 22nd. All your data, now this is when LikeFolio, I think, does its best work. You're giving us data that people may not see with their naked eyes, but you've also got a stock down 15% off its highs, Landon. So your score of plus 35, that's relatively high for LikeFolio, correct? In terms of, I've only seen one or two that have been higher than this, correct?
Well, the range is from negative 100 to positive 100. Now, you know, if you want to talk like how high can it get, like Zoom, when lockdown started and everybody all of a sudden adopted Zoom, that was in the 90s, sure. Right? So it's possible to get very high. I would say that 35 is a bullish, but not exceedingly bullish. So it's firmly bullish. It's not neutral by any means. Whereas Lowe's at plus 9 is, you know, it's pretty much neutral with a slight lean to the bullish side. But yeah, with the stock where it's at now, you know, depending on your risk tolerance, obviously this market is pretty wild. But depending on that, this could be seen as a buying opportunity and a stock on sale with 4 weeks to go before what we believe will be better than expected earnings. Yeah,
it's at a key support level here as far as the charts go, right by its 200-day moving average. And Landon, hey, I had to go out and buy a snowblower a few weeks ago here at the local Home Depot. I'm guessing you didn't have to do that recently?
You know, I think we may have picked up some umbrellas. It's really sunny here, so yeah.
Of course it is. All right, great stuff as always.
That's not nice. That's not nice. There was no need for that last one there, Landon.
Yeah.
No need.
Yeah, great stuff as always, Landon. Have a great weekend.
Take care, guys.
All right, that's Landon Swan, the co-founder of LikeFolio.com.